The wind howled through the creaking wooden boards as I clutched the ship's railing, my gaze fixated on the vast expanse of the Atlantic Ocean. The year was 1872, and I was a crew member aboard the infamous Mary Celeste. Rumors of her cursed nature had preceded our voyage, but I dismissed them as mere superstition. The ship itself was a dark behemoth, its time-worn planks and rusted iron giving it an eerie, weathered appearance. It seemed as if the very wood of the vessel absorbed the countless tales of misfortune that clung to its history like a shroud. We had set sail from New York City, bound for Genoa, Italy, with a cargo of industrial alcohol. The air was thick with apprehension on that fateful morning, as we bid farewell to the bustling harbour, the city's lights fading into the distance. Unbeknownst to us, the voyage aboard the Mary Celeste would soon become a nightmare, the likes of which no sailor should ever endure. It all began with a sense of foreboding that had settled over the ship like a malignant fog. The crew exchanged nervous glances, but we pressed on, determined to prove that the tales of the Mary Celeste's curse were nothing but old wives' tales. Days turned into weeks as unease settled among the remaining crew. The eerie silence weighed heavily upon our hearts, broken only by the creaking of the ship and the haunting whispers carried by the wind. Sleep became a distant acquaintance, and our nights were filled with fitful dreams that left us drenched in sweat and trembling. One gloomy evening, while inspecting the cargo hold, I stumbled upon a scene that sent shivers down my spine. The barrels containing the alcohol had been mysteriously opened, their contents spilled across the floor in a grotesque display of wanton destruction. It was as if an invisible force had ransacked our precious cargo, leaving behind a macabre scene of chaos and ruin. We gathered in the captain's quarters, the room tainted by an inexplicable fear that seemed to seep through the very walls. The ship had become our jail, and we the prisoners of an unseen tormentor. Every corner oozed an oppressive atmosphere of despair and uncertainty, and it was becoming increasingly clear that our presence aboard the Mary Celeste had awakened something malevolent, something that defied all rational explanation. As nights grew longer, so did our paranoia. One by one, my fellow crew members began to disappear without a trace. The ship had become a ghostly labyrinth, where fear resided in every shadow. Each time a crew member vanished, a sense of dread consumed those remaining. The disappearance of our navigator, Andrew Gillingham, struck closest to home. He had been my closest friend and confidant throughout the journey. The cruel irony of his vanishing left me in a state of despair and desperation. With each passing day, my sanity began to teeter on the edge of a precipice. Sleep-deprived and haunted by the spectres of my missing comrades, I would often witness horrifying apparitions that flickered in and out of existence. Their ghostly visages tormented my already fragile mind. One night, as I stood on the ship's deck, a ghostly figure emerged from the mist, its tattered clothing fluttering in the wind. It was Captain Benjamin Briggs himself, his face a mask of anguish and despair. He beckoned to me, silently pleading for answers. Driven by curiosity mingled with fear, I followed the apparition to the captain's quarters. The room seemed to come alive with supernatural energy, the air heavy with foreboding. I could almost hear the distant echo of lost souls begging for release. In the captain's logbook, I discovered the confessions of a tormented man, haunted by ominous premonitions. Captain Briggs had foreseen the horrors that awaited the Mary Celeste. He had willingly disappeared, hoping to spare his crew from the same fate. His sacrificial act left me filled with both awe and terror. The Mary Celeste had become a vessel of death, a cursed shroud that refused to release its captives. Filled with a newfound resolve, I decided to break free from its malevolent grip. Gathering what remained of the crew, we devised a plan to abandon ship in a flotilla of lifeboats. As we navigated the rough seas, the ghostly presence of the Mary Celeste faded into the horizon. The once dreaded ship, now little more than a distant memory, was swallowed by the vast ocean, taking its haunting secrets with it. Years had passed since I escaped the clutches of the accursed Mary Celeste. Though I had tried to put the nightmare behind me, it refused to fade. The horrors I had witnessed, the spectral apparitions that had haunted my every waking moment, continued to torment my soul. The night terrors were the worst. Each night, I would find myself back aboard the forsaken ship, reliving the nightmare that had been my reality. The ship's wooden boards seemed to scream in agony, as if they still bore the weight of lost souls. As the years went by, the line between reality and the supernatural blurred. I became obsessed with deciphering the mysteries of the Mary Celeste. What had truly happened to the ship and its ill-fated crew? Was there a way to lift the curse that had been bestowed upon us? I sought out experts in the paranormal, delving into forgotten texts and ancient rituals. Desperation had driven me to the brink of madness. I needed answers, closure, and a chance to free myself from the relentless grip of the Mary Celeste's malevolence. In a dusty corner of a forgotten library, I stumbled upon a manuscript that promised insights into the supernatural. The words were written in archaic Latin, and the author claimed to have encountered a vessel cursed by malevolent spirits. As I delved deeper into the text, it became clear that the ship described was none other than the Mary Celeste. The author spoke of a ritual that could potentially sever the connection between the cursed vessel and the restless souls that haunted it. It was a dangerous and forbidden path, but I had nothing left to lose. With the help of a small group of fellow believers in the supernatural, I prepared to perform the ritual. We gathered on a moonless night at the exact location where the Mary Celeste had vanished from our lives. The ocean churned with anger, as if it resented our intrusion into its dark secrets. We followed the instructions meticulously, chanting incantations and offering sacrifices to appease the vengeful spirits that lingered. The air grew thick with anticipation, and a bone-chilling wind swept through our circle. The very elements seemed to conspire against us. Suddenly, the sea around us erupted in a fury of malevolence. The water churned and frothed, and a deafening roar filled the night. The ghostly apparitions of the Mary Celeste's crew materialized, their faces twisted in anger and torment. It was as if the very essence of the ship had risen to defend itself. The ritual had awakened a darkness beyond our comprehension. It was clear that the curse ran deeper than we had ever imagined. Desperation turned to terror as we realized we had unleashed a force more powerful than we could ever hope to control. In our futile attempt to break the curse, we had only exacerbated the malevolence that surrounded the Mary Celeste. The vengeful spirits turned their wrath upon us, one by one, driving my companions into the abyss. Their screams echoed in my ears, a chilling reminder of the price of our arrogance. As I stood alone, the cursed ship loomed before me, its spectral presence more overwhelming than ever. It whispered promises of eternal torment, of becoming a permanent resident of the nightmarish realm it inhabited. But I refused to succumb. I would not become another ghostly prisoner of the Mary Celeste. Summoning every ounce of strength and willpower, I broke free from the ritual's circle and plunged into the turbulent waters. The ocean embraced me, its icy depths a stark contrast to the suffocating darkness of the ship. I swam as if my life depended on it, which it undoubtedly did. The malevolent spirits of the Mary Celeste pursued me, their haunting cries echoing through the water. But the ocean was my ally now, and with one final surge of energy, I breached the surface and gasped for air. The cursed ship loomed in the distance, a sinister silhouette against the moonlit night. I survived the cursed Mary Celeste, but at a cost. The nightmares never truly ended, and I became a wanderer, forever pursued by the restless souls of the ship. The world had become a maze of fear, and I could never truly escape. The legend of the Mary Celeste lived on, its curse unbroken, and its secrets forever concealed. Those who dared to delve into its chilling tale, like myself, would forever be haunted by the specters of that accursed voyage. The ship's malevolent presence continued to lurk in the darkest corners of our minds, a constant reminder that some mysteries are best left unsolved, some horrors best left undisturbed. To this day, the story of the Mary Celeste remains shrouded in mystery. Theories have emerged, ranging from supernatural forces to piracy, but none have managed to provide definitive answers.